Welcome back there, Dr. Death. How are you doing?
I am doing great, except that my computer broke. So now you've got the Dr. Baofeng back.
I mean, we just had Freeman fill in for you, so it's like he never left.
His are worse than mine, I think, personally. I'll take a little bit of pride.
Yeah. I'm not gonna argue there. But I guess well, first before we finish this or before we start this off, of course, a wonderful reminder to check out the channel sponsor, Aho Patchworks. Again, a wonderful patch site. All whatever patch you think, there's probably a good one for you. Apparel, all that stuff. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful things. Use coupon code /AGCast and you can get 10% off your order. You should definitely buy from Aho Patchworks. It's a great site. But let's go ahead and start it because it is a little bit later for today.
Yeah. All right. So we actually don't have too much to cover this week, or this month, I should say. But the one that I really want to talk about is the JD25 or 22. I'm sorry. I've got pocket pistols on the mind. The JD22, the Junk Drawer 22, it's a fully DIY semi-automatic 22 rifle. And first off, I think it just looks slick. It's got a really space-age looking design. And the really cool thing about it is that it's a printed bolt. The bolt face is reinforced with a nail. And everything that is required to build it, with the exception of the barrel, for now, is available at the dollar store. Like the firing pin and extractor are made by cutting them out of a knife from the dollar store. Like you just Dremel them out. The springs are actually from spray bottles, and the mag spring is from a Pez dispenser.
I am like 100% certain I've seen this design before.
It is by NotThatTimmyHicks,
Oh,
the
God,
same guy that.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. No. He's the same guy that did the Deep Space Nine.
Right.
That really neat little PDW.
Yeah, no, that is a name I haven't heard a hot minute. But yeah, no, I remember he always would post pictures of something that looked very much like this thing, and it was always kind of his whole thing of making fully DIY stuff. The Pez dispenser spring is actually quite amusing. I respect that one to a wonderful degree.
That.
I do remember, he was for like a while trying to get he was working on when the whole printed FRT stuff was going on wild. He was trying to make this his design work with the printed FRT and everything, and then everything sort of happened, and it was like, all right, well maybe it's just not worth it, type of a thing.
Yeah, the heavy hand of the law. I mean, there's only so much risk that you want to take publicly.
This thing is. If it's what I remember, this one will probably be a lot of fun to build in that case. I'm assuming, does it use an ECM barrel?
That is actually something that we're incorporating right now. And I actually linked him up with Immortal Revolt, the guy behind the Partisan 9, because he has a really good 22LR ECM process and file set. And so the thing is with that is between those two, I'm hoping that we can get a very, very cheap option for a barrel that would be fully rifled, available anywhere in the world. With it being 22 long rifle, you can get away with some pretty thin stuff. We don't want to do anything dangerous, though, so the tricky part's going to be finding that line.
22, you can get away with a lot of different things, just because 22 is not the most powerful cartridge out there.
Yeah.
So, that to me is... The barrel will obviously kind of be the hardest thing, because while things have improved a lot, printed barrels are still really... They can work for, they work for, a pinch, but not ideal.
It's not ideal for a semi-automatic application.
Absolutely,
and, back in the 1950s, they used to use antenna tubing, so... If we want to really stick with the DIY, I don't know, maybe we could make a steel straw work, and they do sell those at the dollar store. Yeah, yeah, the steel straws. I mean, that's a crazy off the wall idea, and I don't know if that's even anything that they're looking at, but
Would be
it's an
interesting.
option, something interesting to check out.
Huh. That's a very
But
fascinating
yeah,
idea.
I love completely DIY designs. I think they are the core embodiment of the movement. And
Absolutely. Yeah.
yeah, this allows anyone anywhere in the world to build a 22 rifle. And yeah, okay, so the FGC 9 allows anyone anywhere in the world to build a 9mm rifle. Um, 22 is going to be significantly easier to source ammunition for in certain areas. You can just directly use nail gun blanks and reload them and make them into live ammunition. I just think that the 22 is it's largely regarded as the most lethal round for its size. And so it shouldn't be underestimated how effective this thing can actually be, especially if a suppressed version comes out.
I mean, don't forget too, 22, whenever it enters the body, it bounces around and, jambles everything up. But
My
so
dad actually believes that.
many
He,
people
he
do.
told me that the other day. Yeah.
Many people do. But something I do want to mention is because I'm looking a little bit more at the trigger and everything as well of like, so this is this using a printed AR-15 fire control group? Or it looks a little different.
Yes, it is. Um, it is using the printed AR-15 fire control group, but it's been adapted to work with this design.
Okay.
And so I can actually send you some more pictures of its internals. But yeah, it's been reworked slightly. I'm not sure if it's for functional purposes as much as for aesthetic, but it is an AR fire control group, which has been very well tested. The movement is very comfortable with the AR fire control group. I've been amazed with how adaptable it is.
I mean, yeah,
But
no, who would have ever imagined it fits perfectly in a Walther PPQ, our 1911 slide, Ruger slide. Like, it's
yeah,
kind of one of those things where it's like, huh, yeah, it does just fit perfectly.
just it just works.
It truly does. But yeah, no, I mean, I'm kind of curious to see a little bit more of like, some fun mag dumps with this thing. Because, yeah, I mean, a fully DIY design is always more interesting, especially when you're just kind of going for that lowest possible cost, lowest barrier to entry type of a thing where,
This thing's gonna be cheap.
yeah, I mean, I guess, yeah, the hardest part will definitely be that barrel itself. And then I guess
Yeah,
maybe
and
that Pinty optic, too, that he has on there.
yeah, well, I mean, we've got Timu for optics now.
Not wrong. I need to ask for a sponsor one of these days. But no, I'm actually kind of looking forward to this one. Specifically, the bolts is kind of interesting as well because there's been several people trying to adapt, CMMG bolts, Ruger bolts.
Yeah.
So like this, I'm assuming this is a completely unique design, or is it copying something similar to a Ruger, not a Ruger
This
bolt,
is
or like a CMM? It looks more like a CMMG type of a thing.
It is, but it's a fully DIY bolt. And so it's a direct blowback. It is based on the 22 conversions by CMMG, but he kind of took it in a different direction to make it more more printer friendly, and easier to DIY. So while it is a derivative, it's different enough that it really excites me. And I just think the idea of making a gun from dollar store components is going to be really revolutionary because, and this is going to sound silly maybe, but a dollar store has nothing at all to do with guns. Like, it's not even a hardware store. This is something that you can make out of like anything in your house, like just random objects. And all you need to do is have the knowledge, have the print plans, and anyone can make this. And it's going to be absolutely impossible to regulate.
No, that to me is honestly the part that's kind of amazing. I think, I want to see more of this thing being shot and stuff. I guess it's still a new beta, so there's still more to go.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I mean, testing is ongoing. Some people have built them. People like them a lot. They're working on extraction because with the 22LR, extraction is always a little bit tricky. There's so much variation in 22 rounds that often you have issues from brand to brand of ammunition. So, with that being taken into account, there's a lot of testing that needs done to get it to work, to acceptable standards.
I mean, even some like factory like built 22s have issues with these exact problems. Like, so it's not
the Sig Mosquito, those little things.
I mean, God,
they choke all the time.
My friend had one of those the Kel-Tec 22 thing actually worked shockingly better than expected, but I forgot what awful ammunition. I think it was using Winchester. It was Winchester, and that thing would just foul up.
Yeah, the bolt.
Oh God, it would foul up everything. Where I just had to like constantly be spraying that thing with lube. It was
Oh yeah.
But so I guess that's a big thing. Is I guess your DIY extractor will be a bit of a challenge.
Yeah. It's the whole thing that direct blowback doesn't usually need a extractor, but you have to make sure that your barrel tolerances are, good enough that it's going to actually blow itself back out, which is something that the FGC9, required a ton of testing to get to work. They had to make sure that everything was going to work right.
And even that's like still a fine-tuning game. Yeah,
absolutely.
Chamber length and firing pin length. Yeah, that's its own whole rabbit hole in of itself. But
exactly.
I do wish, I'm curious to see how this project, progresses and stuff.
I have a lot of hope for it, and I know, not that Timmy Hicks. He's a good guy. He knows what he's doing. I have a lot of faith in this project.
He's been around for a while too. I've seen some of his other stuff. So
absolutely.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm looking forward to it too. I guess, I don't really know what else to add to that besides, I'm looking forward to see what more comes from it. But yeah. I guess let's go see what the next one is.
Okay, so the next one is the Boombox by ToxicXzombieG, which is a great gamer name. And he made a Picatinny rail-mounted suppressor. And it can also be a flash can if you don't want to fill out all the paperwork and you just want it to look cool. And the neat thing about that is that it allows you to suppress a pistol without having a threaded barrel. So it's a standard flow-through design. Sorry. And he uploaded videos of it exploding, but it actually does work, and I've seen other people make it, and it holds together. I don't know why. He thought it was really funny that the very first time he ever built it, he had it misaligned. But the newer version does not explode, and it helps you look like RoboCop, which is pretty fun,
Yeah, no, I'm looking at it right now. This almost kind of looks like the Maxim stuff, except God, does this thing add a lot more length to it?
Yeah, I believe there are shorter models available, but boy, I mean, it takes you to the cyberpunk dystopia quick.
I mean, the big benefit of any of these printed suppressors are, in theory, of course, follow your local laws. But in theory, if you do have a baffle strike or anything like that, just print a new one.
Yeah,
the durability kinda is irrelevant.
Secondary concern when you're dealing with, rebuilding it for 50 cents.
I mean, you could just have a bunch of them sort of waiting for the moment it starts overheating a little bit, and you might have a little bit of a droop, and then you hit a baffle a bit, and then it broke or cracked or something.
In theory, of course. Yes,
in theory, of course, because and you have to have that would be multiple tax stamps, and that would be quite expensive.
It would be.
So one thing I am a little bit curious though is how is this being mounted like on the Picatinny rail?
It is being bolted. Yes. It is incredibly crude, but surprisingly effective. And the big thing now is adapting it to different pistols. It's been tested with Glocks a lot and has been very effective. But the more people that we get in, we might need to change up those mounting locations to make it fit the pistol more effectively. And because of that, the more people that are willing to join the beta and test out different styles of pistol, the better.
Well,
obviously, go ahead.
Well, there are a couple of things though. So it's a flow through design. So I'm assuming it's, I'm curious of how much it actually quiets everything down.
From the videos that I saw, it was pretty darn effective, about as effective as any other pistol. As you can see, it's massive.
Well, that probably helps
there's
a bit, yeah.
lot of expansion. Yeah, there's a lot of expansion room in there. So it is very effective. This is a very new beta, as all of these are. So the really fun part is going to be going forward and building these and testing them and finding out what can be tweaked to improve it, and also find out its limits. How many rounds can it take in a row before you get some droop? How much abuse can it take? And with a suppressor, how sneaky is it?
Well, yeah, I mean, any sort of little bit helps somewhat. I guess the flash can will be kind of fun to make your fun little RoboCop gun, but
oh, absolutely, yeah.
I kind of view printed suppressors as also like a whole big thing in of itself. Of like, it's oil, fuel can filters they're nice, but like they're a little bit harder to find. You can't go anymore to the Napa Know-How and pick up their little fuel cleaners anymore because they stopped selling them because people kept turning them into suppressors. So the days where
they also sell those adapters that are, just for cleaning.
Well, they sell the adapters, but they don't sell the filters anymore themselves. So, you can't just go to the dollar store, go to the hardware store and pick those up anymore. So something like this is kind of fills that niche pretty nice, I would say.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, solvent traps are important things. For cleaning firearms, you always need one.
Well, of course,
everybody should have a solvent.
You don't want to like spill some of that. Solvent can be pretty harsh of a chemical or harsh chemical. So it does make sense. You want to have some place to catch it all, and that's where solvent traps come in.
Yes.
Nothing else besides that. But a flow through suppressor design that I do like that it is absolutely massive in that regard, so it kind of probably has a little bit more effectiveness. A better question though is, did they do anything specific to keep it to cycle, or is there anything you need to do, like change out springs?
No, because it's not going to affect your barrel at all. I mean, the blowback might be a little bit more severe because you're adding this device to the end of your muzzle, but it's not contacting your slide or your barrel in any appreciative way other than just snugging right up to it. So it's not like you have all this weight hanging off the barrel.
Well, I guess you're not wrong, but the barrel is going to tilt upwards, so I'm kind of curious on how that would work.
Yeah, it just kisses the barrel. So you've got a very short window. From what I could see, it works well enough. It is very new. We need to test it more, but the actual design allows enough wiggle room that you still get a decent gas seal, but the barrel can move back just slightly enough before it starts to tilt that you get reliable function.
I can see it working. It's just like it's
just a engineering little trick.
I mean, I'm not gonna. I can see it working, but it's just like, yeah, okay, all right.
No, this is gonna be one that we need to really put through its paces and make sure that it works as advertised. For everybody.
Although, one of the things I will say is, we're saying heavier recoil. I'm certain that extra weight in just on the very front of the gun might probably help with just muzzle climb. And
I think so.
And if you want to make a flash can, I'm not sure if the one that you show is a flash can with all the holes on the top. It almost looks like it'd be a comp at that point.
Yeah, exactly. So this thing's going to be great for competition.
I mean, fine. Oh God, making sorry about that. It is rather late. It's almost of like get the Riptide holster and see if I could just adjust it for this thing.
Yes.
But
well, sorry, we will wrap up soon. We only have 2 more designs to talk about.
No, I was about to say is that this one is. I don't know what else we could add to this one besides it's a goofy looking suppressor, and I'm curious in seeing how well it works. But this is. I want to see a mag dump. I want someone to put a switch on the back of it, and just see how far you can go with it.
Burn it, yeah.
But I guess let's go on to the next one. See what we have next.
Okay, so we have the SoundShock Neo by TM 1827 1998, and this is really neat because this has been one that's been a long time in the making, and it's a Beretta Neo printable frame. And I've always liked the Neos. I always thought they were really cool, super futuristic and space agey. They featured in Westworld a lot back before that show turned to garbage. And, there's not much more to say about it than it is a printable Beretta Neo frame.
So, wait a second. Is this the Beretta 22? Like, it's like a 22. Yeah. Oh my goodness. 22
that looked like an alien blaster.
Yes. This is, I think, the first handgun ever shot.
Yeah, they're cool.
My range had these for 20, like they're the 22 ones. It's like, okay, well, I've never shot a gun before. I should shoot a 22. Yeah. Okay, this one looks kind of cool looking. And Beretta, okay, those are the guys that make the cool M9. All right, I played those. I played Call of Duty. I recognize that.
Oh, yeah.
And they're some weird looking guns. That being said, they have a special place in my heart. They shoot very well. They're 22. I do like this one. Like the magazines are kind of nice, where they let you kind of pull down, so you can just slip them in a little bit easier. I like this gun actually a lot. I actually might pick one of these up just out of like nostalgia.
Oh yeah, yeah. I think that they're super fun to shoot. They're a very comfortable little pistol to shoot. They look weird, but I kind of like it. It's got like that early 2000s like space age vibe to it.
It almost has the Kel-Tec thing where the front slide, like the barrel's locked in place, but the back, it's like it's cut in half in the back.
That's not a bad thing.
It's not. It's almost crazier than what Kel-Tec made.
Yeah, exactly. Like I said, I've actually seen a lot of these in like sci-fi movies and TV shows just because they look so futuristic, and I'm like, I know that gun.
But okay, I guess if anything, I'm assuming that this is using. I didn't even know what the Beretta was called, but I guess it's using the Beretta Neo's parts kit. Then it's just, I'm guessing it's just kind of a frame in that case.
Yeah, and there was some clever engineering because certain parts of the Neo do not take apart well, and so they're not usually included in the parts kits. But that was engineered around, and so this design was I talked to him for a year about this. So this has been very well researched, very well thought out, and this should be a very good beta for someone who wants a safe bet on a parts kit, invest in and jump in.
How much
because
do parts kits usually
this
go?
I don't know. I have not actually looked them up. They shouldn't be too expensive because I can't imagine that there is much of a demand for them. But the Beretta Neo is also kind of a weird pistol, so this is going to be one that you might need to keep an eye out on. But I do not actually know how much they cost off the top of my head.
Yeah, these are head turners of guns to shoot. I mean, now you can make it even more of a head turner with the printed frame.
Oh, absolutely.
This is a 22 frame where, it's not a CMMG, it's not a Ruger. So it's a fun, different thing.
Yeah, it's something to, to be different and to enjoy just the idea of building a gun, shooting it, and having this high quality piece of history that you saved from the scrap heap. That's the way that I view a lot of the parts kits.
Well, I view this more of how much of a hipster do I want to be? Do I want to buy a Ruger Mark IV? Do I want to buy Taurus TX22, whatever the Walther G22, a Glock, whatever the Glock 22 thing was,
Oh,
or could
yeah, the 40.
yeah, or could I buy the goofy looking space Beretta? I know what I'm
Go
going to
for the
choose.
space. Yeah, exactly. If you shoot in an indoor range, this is the one you want.
Absolutely, of like, you could be sort of the hipster that goes with Keltec, or you can even be the bigger hipster that pulls this thing out.
Absolutely. And it's a Beretta, so you look fancy.
Exactly. Yeah. Now it's not some cocaine trash. Now it's Italian cocaine trash. But yeah, it's a fun. I like this one a lot. But it is a 22. I actually kind of want to buy one of these at some point. So maybe that might have to be another decision. But yes, let's keep this one going a little bit. What do we got next?
All right. So we have our good buddy Spooky's Spitfire 22. And that is a 22 long rifle, printed upper and handguard. It's it's not fully DIY, but it looks really darn cool. And so it uses the CMMG Bravo bolt, and it's compatible with any AR lower. And it's just like a neat little 22 DIY project. It'd be super cheap because all that you need to invest in is the barrel and the bolt. And if you just don't want to get into a fully DIY, like you would with the junk drawer, and you feel more comfortable using factory parts, this is going to be the ticket for you because it lets you print the upper, it lets you print the handguard. It's by Spooky. We know that he's a good guy. We know that his designs work. And honestly, I just think it looks cool.
I mean, yeah, it kind of has almost like the little Daniel Defense lever, mounting screws to them.
I mean, it's basic, but it looks really cool to me, very sleek.
I've known that this has been a project for a while at this point. I'm still kind of amazed it took him this long to get it fully into actual beta, because he sent the files to a few other people to test them. I was not one of them.
Yeah,
but
I have to be honest. I want that lower. I want that lower on that picture, and I want it bad. I need it.
You're the one in charge of the beta, mister. You could probably figure it out, but
I can get it. I'll get it, but I don't want to be a jerk.
Yeah, because what I remember with this build was that it was supposed to be a 16-inch 22 because he just wanted to have just wanted a 16-inch 22, and it's just a 16-inch 22 AR using a CMMG Bravo, and I'm assuming it could probably work with any other lower if you really wanted to. You should be printing a firebolt either way, but
that's good design. Good design.
I do actually like the handguard a little bit more than some of the other ones, I guess.
It's very slick looking to me. I like it. It seems streamlined.
Well, Spooky has decent print settings because looking in that black portion, it almost looks like it's not printed for a second.
No, he's got it nailed down. It's a very tight print setting. What I like about it is that the handguards are modular for length. I don't know if you noticed that.
Yeah.
But you can make them as long or short as you want, and I really like that. I think that's something... Oh, go ahead.
Well, yeah, no, it's not everyone has CR10s or any maximum size printers, It would be nice if I could just print a one mono piece, handguard, but if you got a typical Ender 3, that's kind of it's a tall task to make.
Yes, but also it lets you make this into a pistol pretty darn easily, and that's kind of neat to me.
Well, yeah, no, it's. I'm kind of curious of maybe doing this for other things. Does the Biden's Bane have an extra length sort of thing? Because I've always seen, I've only seen it with if you got the pistol length or carbine length. If you get a little bit longer, you see the gas tube.
Yeah, no, they never did that because they just never wanted to stretch it that far, and I always felt that was a bit of a waste. I was really hoping, and I still hope, that people start doing remixes of the Biden's Bane handguards, because I think that's an area that really could use some expansion.
Sure, you might not have your hand that far. Perhaps you're not going to be C-clamping as hard the printed handguard as you would with an aluminum one, but
Yes.
It is kind of nice to have that, extra safe area in case you accidentally do put your hand near there.
Yeah, no, that's why I always like the triangle hand guards. I like the C clamp way out near that sight block. And I just always felt that, that's something that the Biden's Bane would benefit from.
Absolutely. I mean, yeah, that hand guard, by the way, is totally not going to rotate.
No,
It's got, it's locked in directly into,
that is very locked.
it's locked in the upper pretty darn well there. You could go ahead and throw your peck or your IR laser and stuff. That probably is not going to move a little bit. Well, it's not going to move in relation to a printed handguard would, but either way, it's kind of.
No, I think that. Oh, go ahead.
Well, it's kind of got like the Daniel Defense anti-lock kind of thing.
Yeah, but it's not a bad thing to copy. Like, I like that. It's very secure. It's gonna hold together, and it's modular, so you can make it fit your needs. And I just think it's a fun gun. I'm sure he can tell you more about it, but
Oh, I bet. I feel like he's told me about this one several times, actually. I feel like I could probably do this for him, too. It's literally if I wanted to make a 16-inch 22. The only question is, because it's spooky after all, how many M3 screws are in this one? How many M3 screws am I going to need to build this thing?
there's a lot.
I can already see, so there's 4 on one part of the handguard on one side.
I'm going to let you guys in on a little tip here. You can buy bulk packs of the M3 screws on Amazon for like $9, and it's like 300 of them in all assorted lengths.
You stop saying that. You're going to go to RK Spookware. You're going to buy your M3 screws, all right? I at least see 12 M3 screws on this thing, and I will recommend going through RK Spookware to buy them. You can pick up your firebolt kit there as well, and then you can buy your 12 M3 screws of what length would that be? That's got to be.
He'll set you up with the lengths that you need. Probably proprietary.
My guess, those Cambodian kids need to work, all right, but
they do. They do.
My guess is those must be like 10 millimeters, 15 millimeters for those. Either way, it's perfectly fine. If you want to put that little foregrip on there too, you might as well have to go throw 2 more in there. So you have 14 M3 screws. God forbid how many the Firebolt has. It's probably more than I'm willing to count in the second. But something too that I'm noticing as well, is that a printed charging handle?
As far as that goes, I cannot actually tell.
That's more credit to Spooky's print settings.
I don't think it is. I think that is cast. I believe. I don't think that is printed. There was a printable charging handle that was being worked on, but I don't think that's it.
Yeah, I mean, this one's kind of this one's less of the fully DIY build. It's more of a, hey, if you want to. You got a CMMG Banshee and you just want to have a fun, dedicated 22, here you go.
Yeah, I mean, this thing would be great for small game hunting, honestly. Just plinking.
Yeah, just plinking is just fun. I like using my CMMG and my AR, but dear God, does it make it dirty. But I end up shooting way more 22 out of my AR than like actual 223, to the point where I've almost come to this point where, why don't I just buy a dedicated 22?
Yeah. No, exactly. This is perfect for that.
And yeah, this definitely fills that niche pretty well. I don't know if I want to buy an M&P Sport like 22, because those are kind of like, they're nice and all, but like a CMMG conversion kit, if you've probably been printing enough things, or hell, if you even have an AR-15, you probably have one. Yeah. If you don't, you probably should get one. And those are not that expensive. Yeah. Really, now all you're going to need is just your lower parts kit. The barrel liner, I think, would be the next most expensive thing altogether, and there you go.
Yep, exactly.
But aside from that, it's a direct blowback 22. You don't even really need a buffer tube. You can go ahead and throw whatever you want. Especially if it's 60 inches, go ahead and throw whatever favorite stock you ever want on there. Just go ahead and throw it on there.
Absolutely, you can make it as compact as you want. It's a fun build. And I think it looks damn good.
I couldn't agree more. I'm glad that Spooky's working on something that besides waffle mags. That's nice.
Yes.
Now he just needs to work on the Belladonna, which one of these days will happen. But that, I guess let's keep we almost, I think we went underneath an hour. Sure, it's really late right now, but it's okay.
We did it.
We did it. We stood awake the whole way through. We're gonna get this out. Hopefully, well, who am I kidding? It's me. It's gonna probably be like the 6th or something. Well, who knows? Or maybe if we're lucky, it'll be before the 6th. Maybe it might actually be the beginning of the month. Who knows? But
Yeah.
I cannot thank you enough, Dr. Death, for showing up at this wonderful hour of the night. Not night, my bad. Early day in the morning. So
Yeah.
it's a pleasure talking to you as always. We need to do this again when it's not, and hopefully a better hours. But
yes, all right.
Absolutely, can't wait to see you guys next month. And thank you so much, Dr. Death, for showing back up again.
Thank you.
All right, have a nice
Thank
night.
you for having me.